Alright guys, I'm finally done. After this Wrong Turn movie, I've seen them all, thank Christ. And I don't mean that in a bad way for every film in this franchise, because I really enjoyed the first three. But man, the 4 and 5 were dreadful to get through, and 6 is another story in which it's still terrible. It definitely is, but out of the 3 last ones, this is the most entertaining. So I liked how we ended this franchise, and my opinion felt for the last film were better than 4 and 5, but it's still a terrible movie. It's still really bad, really direct-to-video, got really terrible things about it. But anyway, let's talk about it, because I really do want to say there's some things that I can actually speak of more in this one than 4 and 5, I think. I think this has more meat to chew on for me. And I really think that starting out, it has the same opening kind of kill, but it was brutal, and it actually, I don't know, like it felt like one of the first couple where it was like, wow, this is really brutal, but it's not overly silly, I guess, if that makes sense. And people might go, oh, that's really silly, but I just didn't feel that way for the opening kill in this movie. And there was an interesting ass kill in this, and I liked how whenever it started, this girl like is riding a bike and like freaking runs into barbed wire into her mouth, so it goes through half her face, and she's still alive screaming. That is disgusting and hard to actually watch for me, and I'm not super squeamish in movies, but that got me. I was like, ooh man, that just really, that gets me down deep. That really is really, man, that's gross. That's disgusting. And this one, our new location in this movie is a hotel, hotel mansion type of thing, where we get these new characters, which are bland and generic, like most of these movies. And there's one character named Danny who has a connection with these people who run this hotel. A guy and a girl, and nobody could figure out, are they like brother and sister, are they husband and wife, are they both? And like they joke about it, but then you realize later in the movie that they are actually born from this tribe of like cannibals that like go down centuries down in the past, and they are like brother and sister, like they're blood related to have more blood relations for their next of kin. And I think that actually made this movie more interesting than 4 and 5. It made it interesting because this plot, while not great, made it way more tolerable to watch, and not in a bad way. Like, it still has some terrible things about it. The girl Sally, the girl who's one of the caretakers, the girl one, this actress is fucking atrocious in this movie, and I feel bad for this actress, but like, oh my god, like, was she trying to be overly like she talks in a Flower Girl type way, where it's insanely like awful. Like, it is literally one of the worst like performances in a movie I've ever seen. Like, I was just sitting there like, what? Like, how can you be literally this bad? Like, and the acting isn't great in this movie, but man, she just, like, I lost it just watching her. Like, but she made this movie more memorable because she was so entertainingly awful that it really gave a point in its favor for me. Not saying the movie's good, but saying that a bad thing made it more memorable and more interesting and more hilarious than it would have been if it was just bland and generic like 4 and 5. So she really saves this movie in a lot of ways for me. I like how it's in this location for this hotel, and it's got, like I said, that these people who come in, the group of kids, and you literally don't see, like, I don't get why they have this kill. I mean, it's a good kill, like this old woman gets like axed, but it's hilarious and over the top because she gets axed to where it flies at her, it impales her and sticks her on the wall, and I'm like, I know that this is supposed to be over the top in a silly horror movie, but what? Like, literally, that's gonna pin her to the wall. That just so stupid. But it was entertaining. Like I said, this movie is more entertaining than 4 and 5 because I felt like this was not as cliched. It had more of an interesting story. It was cliched in the characters and the acting, of course, but not in the story, because this story really doesn't have the cannibals in it much. They are in it, but they are kind of more background characters in this, which actually I'm pretty fine with. That's not too bad. And I like how, with the Danny character, whenever he comes in, these caretakers are like, will start to teach him stuff, like teach him how to hunt, and then Danny starts going kind of crazy, like having dreams of like killing after he kills these animals, which connects to his family and how he connects to this this bloodline. And I like that. I like that it actually did that. It made more of a plot. This might have the most plot in any of the Wrong Turn movies. Because literally every movie in the Wrong Turn franchise is really just people encounter cannibals, have to run. I guess 3 has some plot too, with like the prison inmates and stuff, and the cops. But this one I felt like definitely has the most plot, which is not amazing, but it made it more interesting to watch, and it just made it more interesting, I think, overall. And I think that it just, again, it does have fun moments in it. Like, there's a moment where there's a room, like a hidden room that's like from centuries ago, where like it's like a big seating room where like there's a thing in the middle, and then these characters realize that it's a thing where a woman puts her legs up and they man and woman have sex there while people watch. And I thought it was funny that they do that, and they go, oh, let's do that, let's have sex right here, and they do. And then of course the cannibals come in, and I thought that was hilarious, that like they come in and just, they get the girl and then the guy gets away. But I like the fact that it's so stupid, but it's so fun. Like, it's just entertaining in this one. I really enjoyed like that scene. That was just over the top and really weird. And the guy, like, he gets hit on the head. I think it's Danny. I'm already forgotten, honestly. I think it might be Danny who's the one who, or no, maybe it was another guy. It was another guy, because he gets suffocated and dies. But that Sally girl again, who is fucking, that actress is terrible in this movie, but there's a hilarious moment where he's still alive, that guy, because he just got hit in the head. So she takes him into this room and she starts like fondling with him, and then like the brother or the husband or whatever is talking to her and says, you can't do anything yet, you can't do anything, we're so close. And then I loved her line. This is so terrible of a line, but her performance is so terrible too that it makes it genuinely awesome. This line is so hard to say out loud, but here goes. She says, don't you fret, lover, you will be in me one way or another. And then like she puts a blanket over him and then I think fucks him. And it's just so insane. Like, I'm just like, wow, just the acting, the mixture of the acting, that atrocious line, the hilariousness of the situation, like it made it so fun, like so stupidly fun. And I like the fact that, like I said, the story isn't great. It's more of a story than the other Wrong Turns, pretty much. But the Danny character, of course, gets turned so quickly, where it's like all his friends are not his friends anymore, and these two caretakers that they met here, or that he met only like a day ago, are like the ones that he's gonna be loyal to. And like the girlfriend, she's like, well, we're your family, we're the ones that actually have been with you, and he's like, or been friends with you, and he's like, says something like, you guys don't matter anymore, or something stupid like that. Like, it's so quick on the snap of a finger, like he changes his thought process on who he's loyal to, that it's really bad. But it still is interesting that there's more of a plot in this movie. Whether it's good or bad, it's still interesting and makes this movie more watchable because of a lot of those things. So I thought that, and then he kind of gets hypnotized to forget his friends. Like it's in a way kind of like he forgets both. He forgets and then he kind of just ignores them. So, and then he has this weird hallucinative dance, um, and like it's really out there and really like. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be trippy, but it's just like him like spinning around and them like all dancing or having sex with each other, and it's really just weird. It didn't do much for me in terms of like, oh, this isn't supposed to be creepy. It's just like, oh, it's just really silly. Um, and then like we get towards closer to the end of the movie, and there's this scene where um, nameless guy number 3, whatever, all these people who I've literally know nothing about, don't know their names. Danny's the only one I can literally name because he's the one that has a story thread. But all the other people are there to just die. This one guy, nameless guy number 3, he dies in a cool way where I'm like, wow, that was kind of memorable. But it was dumb, but it was memorable. Where he literally gets a hose, I think, stuck up his ass, I think, and like he literally, his stomach just explodes because they fill it, like the cannibals fill it with water, like fill him with water, and his stomach blows out, which was silly and really entertaining. But I was like, well, okay, that works. That's entertainingly bad. That's fun. I like that. And I like the fact that, like I said with Danny, his girlfriend, she tries to like convince him to come back, but then nope, she dies. So it was pointless. And then the movie literally ends where Danny is now like the leader of like this hotel, and like he's got all these fancy people there giving him food at the hotel, and like you realize that it's food that was shown earlier, that like the cannibals, it's just body parts from people that cannibals give, and they make that into food. But they do it again at the end where Danny sees them and says like, come on boys, we got a job to do. And they go down to that sex dungeon thing, and then he has sex with the Sally girl, and she's like, oh, it's not working, and he's like, we'll keep trying. And then it literally ends on them just having sex. That's a weird way to end this movie. It's a weird way, but it's a way that I don't see much in a horror movie. Like usually it ends on a jump scare or happy ending, and happy ending is definitely not much in horror movies, but it does like sometimes. But this one it ended in a sex scene, so I was like, okay, at least I can give it that it's different than being like a jump scare at the end, or something can happen again with the killer. The killer might come back. But no, this one is just trying to create another baby for the line of blood relatives. Okay. So this one is definitely more interesting than 5 and 6. And I'd say if I had to rank these movies, since I just watched all 6 of them, I'd say the first one, and then the second one, then the third one, then this one, and then 5, then 4. I'd say overall that's how I'd rank them, because they really, it's not like a super mixed franchise. I think, like I said, the first 3 are really fun, 4 and 5 are really bad. This one's really bad but really entertaining, so I give that the leg up from being the worst one. And this one pissed me off the least out of the last 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this was entertaining and it was fun. It was a surprise that it had more of a plot. It was a surprise that it was so hilariously bad, but in a way where I enjoyed it, as opposed to 4 and 5. And that actress who plays Sally, I love her because she's just so fucking terrible in this movie, and I don't know if she's purposefully acting like that in this movie, like maybe they told her to act like that, or I don't know. I feel like she probably isn't really that bad of an actress, and she looks familiar, like I've seen her in something, and I'll have to look that up, but I'm done with the Wrong Turn franchise, thank God. And this one wasn't even as annoying as 4 and 5, so this was a fine, bad one to end on in the franchise, and this is the last one we've gotten so far, and it's been 4 years since this one came out, so I'm curious to if we'll get another one. But if not, this franchise, I think, it had some hidden misses, But I enjoyed watching the franchise, and I think overall it was fun for the most part. So, yeah, I enjoyed this franchise. And 6 was really bad, but I enjoyed it for its terribleness.